Here we go.
Test.
Yeah, can hear you.
Go, bro. In the shadow of the standing stone, I feel the memory of the earth. Voices rising from the ancient dark, calling fire into rebirth. The old ones speak through breaking light, through wind that carves the sacred lore.
Exposed.
They lift the past into the present, to guide the path we walk once more. Bringing the past to the present, for a future flashed in flame, where wisdom flows like rivers old, and the storms recall our name, where creation stirs like thunder, where the old universe draws near, and the awe of the wide and ancient sky cuts through doubt and fear.
Every heart beats a promise, carried forward from
Link
the
on the chat.
stars. Every sunrise holds a secret, hidden deep.
Tag you in Facebook.
who we are.
I feel the strength of all before me, ancestor, mountain, storm, and sea. Their power arises in my spirit, their knowledge walks with me. Bringing the past to the present, for a future fierce and true, where the wisdom of the ages flows in me and flows in you, where the storms awake in power, where the sky reveals the whole, and the wonder of the endless cosmos sets the fire in the soul.
Bringing the past to the present, so the future learns to shine in the dawn of life's great mystery. The ancient strength is mine.
Hello and greeting everyone. Welcome to a Q&A session here at the Shaman and the Philosopher. My co-host apparently has gone somewhere. Let me put this back so you can at least see me. And today we are expecting to have you all to participate in chat and let us know what your questions about this videos we've been releasing or anything from the past to the future, just feel free to reach out and we'll do our best to give an answer. So I hope you've seen today's trialogues on Headless channel where I've been this morning, and I'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern on Ed Cass's Tridactyl's channel speaking about copper and what are the news regarding to that. So let me go to the chat. Yeah, here it is.
I'm human after all. I am also human with a hello audience. Are we live? We are.
Yeah.
With a puppy in the household. So I was out on the back porch trying to introduce a puppy to kittens. We have 3 cats, and he was enjoying it, and he didn't want to come in, and I forgot what time it was because we are much earlier than we usually go on Sunday. We're usually about 8. But my partner in crime here has an appearance. What time are you going on?
Oh, I just was telling that. I'm going on at 7 p.m. Eastern on Ed Cass's Tridactyl's channel. So we just moved our show a little bit earlier as an exception this Sunday. Because I know that people like Ro is in there, so I'm going to talk about him. He wants us to create a schedule where all the channels organize themselves and not overlap. Well, it's very hard to do, Ro, because especially because everybody is in a different time zone and
well,
the
let's
windows...
give Rue a look at our week, right? Like we just, I mean, look what's coming up. So we've got you on Ed Cassis tonight, and Ed has been on our show, and Ed's a good guy, so we want to, reciprocate. He asked me on the following week, okay, Tuesday we have Jacqueline recording a presentation for Universe Unveiled. That's a couple of hours, Tuesday morning. Tuesday evening, Dave just asked me yesterday from Mike and Dave's Multiverse to hop on and just sort of shotgun, ride with him on an episode. He's going live Tuesday night. Wednesday, we're recording with the Moon Expert.
No,
we're recording
Saturday.
somebody on
That's
Wednesday. Okay, that's Saturday. We're recording someone on Wednesday,
Wednesday
or we're
is
going
Brian,
live with.
Sunday is Morgan Gromieri. So we're talking about Celtic, the subject that we've been on. We'll talk about languages, DNA, ancestry. We're going back to Ireland, Scotland, and all of that lore with Morgan, I hope. And here we talk whatever they want to talk, so it doesn't matter. Sometimes they're going to come to talk about one thing, and we end up talking about something completely different.
Right.
So,
so my point
yes.
to Rue there, and I'm even leaving out a couple, it's an ever-evolving thing. We have started a little Discord channel, not started, but we started sort of, hey, Catman, I see you there. Started alerting some of our, folks that handle that type technology in an effort to try to get a centralized place just for our little productions. That's us plus Universe Unveiled. So once you try to start going with everybody, we try to respect, timelines that are already established, especially like Wandering Wolf, because, they have huge audience and they're obviously established. So things like that, you obviously try to steer around, and we try to hone 2 hours. We'd establish Sunday evenings and Friday evenings. And I think we've basically held to that, except for, Rue, we've started trying to tackle the live game pretty regularly. And Ricardo, you can probably tell us why we originally started looking at live versus recording.
Very simple, because we had 2 or 3 recordings in a row where on one we lost more than half of the recording of the guest because he had problems in connection. The other one we lost half an hour, and the other one was even there. So in order to don't fail the people that take the time to come and talk to us, this is a secure way for us to don't lose it. And it is in my plans, when I have the time, to grab all of these videos that are recorded to be placed in the Shaman and the Philosopher channel, where they will be a little bit better edited in some aspects if they need to, and they'll be integrally there. And more than that, we need the content because we are moving towards the creation of the Institute for Natural Philosophy TV channel that we now know we can embed in our Institute for Natural Philosophy webpage. So we'll have a dedicated page for that where our channel will be transmitting 24/7. For now, only recordings, but as soon as we can, we'll upgrade and we'll be able to be actually schedule lives, and you know exactly where the show is going to be and at what time, and you can go to the webpage and see the episode being
Yeah.
displayed.
What you're seeing and witnessing now is us, because of, like you said, trying to honor not losing this material, and us just seeing the opportunity to start getting good at live. You know, nobody in our little crew had been messing with it. So this is us honing our skills. You know, some nights I'm trying to sort of play producer, some nights I'm presenting, and it's just all of us, you know, are doing the same thing. So we're just trying to pick up our skills in this area. At the end of the day, you're still getting the recorded content you can watch back. We're still trying to present it as we would if we're recording. Just be entertaining and interact with you guys along the way as well.
Sure. And what is a detriment to some is a good thing to others. So I don't know if being live so often is good or bad. Opinions will diverge. But the thing is, we're putting content out there. If people like to watch us, they are free to appear and watch and talk with us, as you're doing right now. And
Well, we're
that's mainly the
community
purpose.
building as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
You know, we're community building on all fronts, guys. You know, all of the guys that are contacting me and that are contacting Ricardo and that we're contacting, you know, you all want to honor each other and sort of go and help build this community by being on each other's shows. So those are constantly popping up. And then we've got you guys. You guys are a community that interact with not just us here, but with the whole scene. You know, so right now it's kind of like what's the thorns in the whirlwind, you know, and we're just kicking, doing our best. But thank you for holding us to task. And there's a pretty decent explanation of, I think, where we sit and stand today. Today we even thought Rick Osmond might join us again because he's snowed in, but he said he's got wood to chop, you know. So we're just we're taking it by the seat of our pants.
He might appear or not. We'll see.
Right. So we're gonna take an hour to maybe cover just a couple of topics, a couple of things we're each working on or have on our minds, or deal with some questions from the audience, and then let Ricardo get about his probably 2-hour appearance, I'd imagine, with Ed.
I don't know. Normally it's 1 hour. I think he's shows.
Oh, good.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we won't.
Usually well prepared, which means I ain't for it, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. So we've welcomed everybody. We've got Rue, as always. Saw Rue over on Dan Richards' video that he just dropped about an hour ago. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Excellent one on the vases. I'm going to have to go rewatch for some of the content because he had Bruce Springsteen's, you know, the album. What is it, Born in the USA? Where he's got just Bruce Springsteen's butt cheeks and jeans. Okay, he had that right behind his head. So that the whole time that he's presenting this serious material, you've got shining butt cheeks. And I was dying. But it was really good video. And I saw Rue over there earlier. Okay, Rue's got a question. Do we feel I thought we already answered that though, didn't we?
Yeah, that's the one that we just answered.
Yeah. So I think for me personally, it's practice. You know, I'm by getting good at using this media. You know, I get better at the thing you're always asking me about, Rue, which is more concisely presenting my stuff. You know, and the more I interact with professionals who have been doing this and presenting their stuff, that gets us started. Just this morning, kind of what threw me and what had me forgetting about our time, because it was changed, but also Brian Corey Dobbs, who we're doing a couple of future shows with, and we've done one show with already. He was asking me on X, he'd messaged me, he's like, so listen, some of your videos, when you say metal, what do you mean exactly, you know? And so I was busy there just making him some videos explaining that, you know, precisely what I meant, explaining some of my theories, which some material we might go into today, depending on what Ricardo's got going on and what the chat has going on.
Well, I don't know. I think you can push forward because I know you have something you're always adding to what you find. And I know that you have an expedition planning to try and find the Welsh caves.
Yeah, I want to. So that guys is another discovery that just comes along. You know, the Welsh caves with Rick Osman. You know, to find out that whatever this place is and whyever it's in the lore for being called a Welsh cave, you can see from the photographs there are markings there, whether they were native or Welsh or whatever. And it's this cave. You know, right, guys. I'm talking less than probably 400 yards, maybe less. From all this stuff I found, these giant circular metal deposits and all of these signs of what I believe are quite simply signs of the antediluvian civilization after it got blown apart during the onslaught that was the Younger Dryas natural phenomena. Wink, wink.
Or something after that, midway. Right?
Yeah, I know there are.
There are
others,
more impacts.
You know.
There are more impacts.
There are more. It just seems to me that the timeline of this total destruction and the type of construction and the size and scale of construction that is implied, if you follow me along on what I see, that to me requires it to be something that we've completely forgotten about. Therefore, it fits more neatly in the Younger Dryas when I know that the North America continent, as along with several others, was bombarded from something like 20 to 100 years with constant air bursts and, you know, impacts. So it fits more neatly, this total destruction of something grand on a very grand scale.
You know, my only snag with that is that the effects of the Younger Dryas on that area after the impact and the high heat event, high energy, high heat event, the water would take all of that, and the things are still there. Right?
Well, the things that are massive enough. I mean, I'm with you. The water would come through here, you know, as it went down and emptied into Mobile Bay. That's why what's left is so massive, right? And now, obviously, when it comes to the last video in my series, it was the first major thing I found, that triangular mound of this rubble. That indicates that some remnant came back through here after the waters had subsided, right? So, you know, that answers that to me. That I know that mound had to have happened after that. Therefore, all of these pieces of rock are so big, man, you know, and I don't know how deep the water was coming through here.
Even
but what's left...
Some look structures that someone were pushed against each other or taken back and rolled over. And we see that in South America, for instance. You see huge slabs of worked stone that were the base of a temple or a ceremonial place that can weigh way up beyond 100 tons, and they are upside down. How the hell did you turn such a thing upside down? What kind of force can create that, right? And now, because of internet and because more and more people are going live constantly and doing and showing stuff, we are seeing these things because we now have the technology not only to record them with enough quality and the possibility of streaming it and sharing it with everybody that sees it by chance or by actually knowing what's going on that particular channel or account. And this, I think this is all related, and this is overly understated, even in the Younger Dryas community, is that most likely the Taurid
meteor stream.
The meteor stream is what was left from that initial impact. That's the remains of that initial comet that broke at that time. So the impacts happened at that period, but then it happened again in 2,000 years, and then it happened again in 2,000 years, and then after 4,000 years, and we just heard another one from Rick Osmond explaining this story of Madoc, of the impact in the in fact, all of this story is told in episode 10 of Lost America that I shared on X, and you can watch at Lost America Patreon for free, of this impact that occurred in England that caused all of this story of healing the land and the search for the Grail that was but the ability to bring the land back to life, basically, because everything was burned and dead. And one of the points that I was seeing is, where are all the Roman monuments in England? Why are they one of the last ones to be built, and they are the ones that are more destroyed? Because of this impact. Everything was destroyed. It was not the tribes that came after or the groups that destroyed those things. It was a huge event. So the only thing we have is Roman ruins. Some of them are buried under lots and lots of feet of debris and soil and silt. The only thing that remains is the megaliths. Because the megaliths, those that were not directly hit, because they're so massive in terms of how they are built and the size of the stones and how well they are constructed, they resisted all of this situation, and they're there. But it is a fact that I never thought about that. Why are the last things the Roman Empire built, more or less, because the UK was the last place they reached and colonized, why is it everything destroyed? Everything is destroyed. There is nothing standing in there.
Give folks the time period of this particular disaster you're talking about. We don't want to go off too deep, but I do want folks to have a date.
A date for what? Sorry.
The time period. So you're talking about a disaster that's
I have
Younger
not the
Dryas.
precise date. I think it's
Okay.
400 AD, something like that. 400 something AD.
Because I believe this is the one that we saw Lee and Rick speak on.
Exactly,
In the
exactly.
Okay. And they said there is evidence in like South Carolina, for example, from the water from this impact having washed debris up to 30 miles inland. So it is a scientifically backed thesis here.
Yeah. In fact, if you can talk a little bit more, I can show people how high this debris can get, because I have an image that can
Well,
show
what
that.
I'm gonna go back to the Younger Dryas for a minute, and what I like about the Taurid meteor streams is we pass through them. I think it's June and November. I know it's in November because of at the end of October. Because of Randall Carlson's kind of, I guess you'd call it thesis on the origins of Halloween. And he's got this great, lengthy video that walks you through all of the cultures around the world which have a day celebrating or marking death right around the holiday we call Halloween or Samhain or Dios de los Muertos, on and on and on, from all around the world, all around the globe, completely. So, he asked this question, okay, why? Why at this particular time in unrelated cultures all around the world do I have a day associating or a week or a period right here associating it with death? And to his, theory, it's because that's when we were passing through the Taurid meteor stream. That's when the destruction happened that we call, by name Atlantis or Younger Dryas or antediluvian world. But it was at that point that happened, that time of year. And so by marking it, that's another way of letting everybody know this is what happened. This is when it came. Look up. And we still pass through that stream to this day with many near misses.
Unfortunately, it's not as easy to find in my chaotic database what I was looking for. I know I have that posted on X. Maybe it's easier for me to find it there. Let me see. But in relation to what you're saying, people just have to go and research what was the periodicity of the Taurid stream back in time. Because it has become shallower and shallower and shallower, and now you struggle to see 10 an hour. When you go back a few like 100 or 150 years, and you see records of thousands an hour. Right. It has been consumed each time it passes, and the Earth goes through it. That's when those things come into our atmosphere. It's not that coming into us; it's us going through it. It's clearing the path, so there is less and less debris. We are not expecting any major impact from that stream anymore. It's all but destroyed, all but dust.
Oh no! It's not all but dust. That's not the latest data on the Taurid meteor stream. Think Tunguska, right in Russia. That was in audience, was it 1880 or 1908? When I can't remember, when in Russia the airburst comes down and it explodes before it hits the ground, and for like 300-mile radius, trees are fucking flattened, right? If it would have been a city, it would have looked like Hiroshima, right?
Yeah, but Tunguska didn't came from the Tauri.
We're near missing. I mean, I've watched enough videos. We're constantly near missing. There are still, to this day, they lie to us, dude, about how well they see rocks that are coming at us. You go looking at the records of what they've put out as far as near misses from space rock goes, and what you see is there are so many that we don't see until they're already past us.
Oh yeah, completely.
Right, and they're massive, and they missed us by a fraction, in space miles.
But that's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say it's.
I mean, it's a real fucking threat. That's all I'm saying.
But it's not from the Taurid meteor, the Taurid stream. It comes from many other. It can come from anywhere, right? Those pieces can come from anywhere. If they come from behind the sun, then we're done because we can't see it. And probably that's what happened with Tunguska. When we saw it, it was just minutes before impacting.
Yeah, we didn't see it. I mean, it still happens to this day. You can just go online and see video of all over the world. These massive things are still coming in,
Oh, yeah.
And that's all. And it is a cyclical thing, when you look at these stories, man, however far back you go with them through whatever culture on this planet, right? They all allude to cycles. Even the Grail legend, as you started us here with, that alludes to a cycle, right? Now, I myself, maybe too much Randall Carlson when I was having, some down days, but he talks a lot about the Grail. And, he also brings that to the Younger Dryas as well, because you're talking about a time, in antediluvian time, to get to, back to a lot of the stuff I found blown apart, right? You had something that was higher than what we have now, both in its consciousness, right? Not saying it had abilities we didn't, just saying, it had a higher consciousness as a baseline, and it had abilities that we would not recognize. It's just too much for our current reality to let us handle, is what I'm finding out there. Right? But then the Grail comes along, and it's about what happens in between these cycles, right? And what the Grail alludes to is that once you hit that lowest cycle, when the king's dead and the land is barren, right? And we got to now get a good group of dudes together and go out and find the king, right? Find the whatever to restore the land, right? From the sickness, which is much like, it's like any of the other myths, really, when you think about it, about a higher form of civilization being wiped out, and then a lower iteration existing with people who then start to go, but wait a minute, I bet there's a way back, and that's kind of what we're doing in a nutshell at the Institute of Natural Philosophy, to end with a plug, sir.
Absolutely. And I'm just a bit frustrated because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. That would be very illustrative, what I'm trying to say.
Right, true seer, kaboom, and the world was, Adam and Eve's not telling you about, the first go around. It's like, Adam and Eve should be read like sort of right after Noah if you want to get to really honestly chronologically trying to sort out what that particular version of all of the other stories from around the world is trying to tell us, and I could go on and on about that. Good to see you, True. Thanks.
Well, since I cannot show that, I think we can move to something that I can show.
We could go on and on about the Grail. What are you looking for?
No, it's just that I have an image.
I've got a theory I can bullshit about.
Go on. I would really like to find this. I'm just getting very frustrated.
Young Stitches, thank you. Rebooting history. Z, we are living in the time. Yeah. In between. So I have a theory about secret societies. I've got a lot of theories about secret societies, but I also, as AA puts it, secrets kill you, and you learn that in a very sort of visceral way, And I went through that lesson successfully, and so I'm not fond of secrets. Certainly not in myself, and certainly not when it comes to well, secrets in general. It's like knowledge. You know, it's what we're doing here, Ricardo. Is we're trying to collect all this knowledge before it's too late, and you know, et cetera, just to collect it, right? Because it shouldn't be a secret. It should be shared. So I've got this idea about secret societies, and it goes back to like I was at a lecture about the Tas Templar. And so my mind was on, you know, Göbekli Tepe. And I know you disagree with me here, which is all well and good.
Sure.
But it goes back to the theory of Göbekli Tepe being purposefully buried, right? Because, see, that really just sends my mind to spinning about why, you know, first of all, if I start with Göbekli Tepe as in my theory, right, that I've got my notes on, if I start with Göbekli Tepe being whatever it is, right? It's this anomalous thing that was in 10,000 BC that nobody can agree on. Were they agricultural? Were they not? Did they say, fuck food, let's do this? I don't know. It's just here, right? Is it a calendar? Is it a language? I don't know. It's just here. It shouldn't be. What the fuck, right? Okay, that thing I take as something from the survivors of the higher form of civilization that existed before this catastrophe, right? So now let's just fast forward to why then would it get buried? Why would someone want to create a secret out of this, right? Now,
Well,
then
they say they were
now
protecting it.
Hang on. Yeah, but I don't that's where I'm going. So, why would I want to make it secret, right? Now, start looking at all the little strange civilizations. The Varna civilization with its strangely out of place, meaning date, kind of early, fancy metalworking, and all these little, when you start digging into around Göbekli Tepe, right, you got all these weird little cultures that are just like a little too fucking advanced, you know, for a layman's perspective, right? Okay, so if I go, they buried it, right, and they spread out, well, why did they bury it? Why did they make a secret? Now, let me ask myself something about secret societies, about Rosicrucians, about Masons, about Templars, about any of those dudes. What supposedly was at the core of some of the knowledge they either found, obtained, had given to them, stole, whatever. It was knowledge of a past civilization, right? Okay, so I start to go, well, now they were keeping that secret, okay? Church, Templars, everybody's fighting over this shit, right? Keeping it a secret. Why? Why is all this power keeping it a secret? Now, would that have anything to do with why the leaders of whoever civilization was that built Göbekli Tepe would decide to bury it? Would they suddenly go, aha, we got this fucking reminder here, and we've been here a while now, and it's not coming back, and we're wealthy, and you know we're living a certain way. We've got all these reminders of shamanic faith. You know, we've got Gilgamesh holding his penis, telling us to hold true because that destruction was brought for a reason, because we forgot, we stayed too close to the material realm, right? What if after a few thousand years and it doesn't come again, some humans start to go, this is bullshit, it's not coming back, let's get on with the material realm, right? Let's get on with power, right? Let's get on with doing our thing. They would bury it. They would bury it. So I can call that in my working mind on my whiteboard audience, the birth of secret societies, right? So if I say that this was some sort of shamanic, as the experts who I was listening to, Hugh Newman and others, J.J. Ainsworth, were telling me, some sort of like calendrical keeping, but all, it was dates, but it was also astrologicals, two different things, right? Whatever it was, it gets buried. Secret societies emerge. All secrets are what? A birth of what we often call consolidated power through fear, right? As long as the populace doesn't know what's really going on, I can keep a secret and I can control through fear. These people, obviously, after the cataclysm, were survivors. As you might know in the stories of the Christians, you know, they say cast out of the garden. See, I told you Adam and Eve and Noah are a little out of place, right? These are the people cast out of the garden, cast out of the higher, you know, time, right? The higher form of civilization by this destruction. Right. Now, the survivors who in my work are over here on this continent, right? And they make this triangular mound and this message that to me is a message that, I don't have to go back to Göbekli Tepe, but I think there's a message there about Gilgamesh, and all the men holding their penises. And it's a message about turning back to the spiritual and away from the material, right? Well, I think when you get over here in Alabama, and I find this big triangular piece they came back and they piled up the rubble afterwards. That means they had to also be survivors, right? Same survivors as did Göbekli Tepe. What they do here, though, they put it in a triangular mound. They pointed it at this this precious metal piled up, and it's a message, right? And it tells us this is what brought this destruction. You see this destruction everywhere. Once you start seeing it, the metal deposits, everything I showcase in antediluvian Alabama, they're telling us here's what brought it. Our obsession with the material, right? Now, what culture started here, right? What mound building culture? What culture walking with nature, right? Staying until the West came in whatever beautiful thing it had going on. Now, what happened over in Göbekli Tepe where they buried that secret? We got Western civilization as we know it, period. Call it what you want, right? From Europe to Spain, you've Western Civ, everything we call old world. Over here, in what they were calling the new world, what did I have happening? I had these natives and all their beautiful varieties maintaining a much more naturally adherent sort of existence, right? Cohabitating with the three-dimensional realm, not so much conquering and destroying it and controlling it, right? Till when? Till Hernando de Soto gets over here. Till the explorers come over here. Till Mobilla happens, till the disease spread. They were human trafficking guys when they came over here. They would take hundreds and thousands of slaves for burdens and for carnal needs, right? They would demand it at each village. They'd have their number. They'd go in with their number going, okay, we need so many, So they're sex trafficking and they're human trafficking amongst this population, spreading diseases like wildfire, right? So then this huge population that is described by all first visitors to this continent, right, be it north or south, this huge population in a generation is devastated, emptied out, right? So that 150, 200 years later, Western Civ, Secrets and Power, gets back over here. They're able to get away with that original lie, that what was here was rudimentary. What was here was savage, right? Because it had disappeared thanks to the diseases. And that's part of that false narrative we've been living under ever since that's being foisted upon us, that these native peoples... See, in order for the land grants, guys, and all of that to be justified, they had rules, and it had to be rudimentary, and it had to be savage, and yeah. So that's just a theory I'm working on about Western civilization versus what we call, native civilizations around the world, but specifically because of the whole New World, Old World conflict and narrative battle. That pops so beautifully in my mind. And yes, it hinges upon Göbekli Tepe being buried, but, I was in a live lecture and just trying to go where I could.
You know that I tend to think that there's more chances that it has been buried naturally than purposely.
I know.
But I also know, and I looked into this, there are several sites that have been reportedly, and with proper evidence, that they have been buried by the very same cultures that produce it. That said, and trying to go a little bit against me, I'm gonna, now that I found it, I'm gonna share this with you so you can see how any structure can be. Of course, now it's not working. It was working when I'm talking, but it's not working. Oh, there it is. Let me cut the sound, share, and I will have to put it on play, otherwise no one will see what I'm talking about. So you see those piles of sand over there? That's sand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just put this on
Just check our
play.
chat.
How do I put this on play? Where is it? Did I lost it? Where do I have this to put on? I had this so well controlled. What happened here? Oh no! I just have. I'm already there.
Since when?
I'm already there. I didn't know.
You know we got a no bullshit rule
Okay,
on our
so
show,
look at
man.
this.
Since when are you in control?
You see this area? This was all digged on for. I'm hearing the sound. It was all digged out as
Okay.
a sand pit. All of this was sand, and all of this sand was brought during what I considered to be the huge catastrophe around 4000 BC.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that was in this area, and if you look in here, sorry, let me pause it. Let's look at this image here because it shows both sides here. Anything that was in here would be under this height of sand because
Gone.
yeah, completely covered up. This is
Oh, I see. Covered.
yeah, completely covered up. This was all sand in here, and this sand is not natural to here.
And in case you didn't mention to the audience, so what we're talking about here is a little later, 4,000 years, whatever, 8,000 ago. But the impact was in the Atlantic, right? So
In the
there-
Atlantic, in front of Portugal,
like
if I'm
in
correct.
water, right?
Yes.
So what you have then on either side, and I've heard quoted that here on this side, up to 30 miles inland, they found evidence of the wash of debris. So that's what you're seeing here is sort of damage from a large amount of
Exactly.
wash and debris from an impact that
So
happened in the ocean. Go ahead, Ricardo.
Down south, closer to the mouth of the river, there are places where academics found silt up to 300 feet high. So the water would be above that.
Yeah.
You imagine 300 feet of silt. The amount of water and debris that was being pushed down from the waters coming back into the ocean, and we know they did, because if we look to maps of Portugal without the ocean there, we can see the huge canyons that the water formed coming back into the basin of the ocean. Yeah. That's exactly why the record for the highest wave surfed is in Portugal in a place called I can't remember the name right now. It's under my tongue, and I've been to that beach several times, and I can't remember the name. No. It's above that.
It's Ibiza.
It's above Ericeira, but I can't remember the name right now. Stupidly, I just can't remember it. But let me stop the sharing.
Itabina.
So the waves there get to 100
That was
feet.
an O Brother reference. Did you get that? That was an O Brother Where Art
No,
Thou
I
reference.
didn't. Sorry.
I know you're a fan.
I'm trying to be focused.
He's
on what
trying
I
to
was saying.
focus. I'm trying to fuck with him. It's these live skills, man. We said we were going to be funny at some
Yeah.
point. I'm sorry. Continue, sir.
Is a cat's? I don't know. Is he?
Yeah, the cat had me smiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
He likes the lives. So these cataclysms, and for instance, in this case in Portugal, that's damaged. That it doesn't affect just Portugal, the whole Iberia. We know that 96% of the males disappeared during this period because everything was devastated, and then finally the invading forces from the upper north of Europe finally managed to come down and take over this land, which they couldn't previously for some reason that we can go up into a different day. That I think it's connected to the megalith technology. But after that, they invaded in force and they killed 96% of the males. That's what's in the history of the DNA of this area.
This is in Portugal.
In Portugal, 96% of the male were killed. And we see people transitioning from living on the plains, like the cromlech of Almendres. The cromlech of Almendres is on a plain, and the village would be like 100 yards from the monument, right on the plain, with no defenses, nothing. And after this event, you see the abandonment of these structures, and they start building what they call hill forts. They go to high points, they fortified all around, in order to save whatever they could kept after the catastrophe, right? Because
Yeah.
it's never happened before. They had 7,000 years of peace. 7,000 years. How much information can be lost by 7,000 years of bliss? When they got to the end of it, no one knows how to work the megaliths, except for one or two individuals in each area. All the knowledge,
Yeah.
because it was taken for granted. The same way we take phones for granted in much less time, or televisions, or being able to be streaming here.
Yeah, who among us, if all the phones quit working, would be able to fix it, you know, or make a new one?
Yeah, and I said this many times. I grew up in a time there were no cell phones, and I never ever thought, "Ooh, I wonder if I have a device that I could call my friend so we can meet on that place." Never. I never thought that. We always managed to meet.
A walkie-talkie handled it if ever needed. But yeah, you're right, bro. We didn't need it.
We always knew how to meet and where and what time. We didn't need to be constantly, oh, I'm 5 minutes from there. Oh, yes, I'm getting out of the house now. Right?
Well,
It's
if
all
not,
anxiety. It all
I got
creates
my ass on
anxiety.
my bicycle and I went to your damn door and I knocked. And when your mama came, I said, "Where the hell is he?" You know, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, it's weird now. I've got children that have these cell phones, and it's not the same, dude. You know, having the thing attached to the wall, right? And that was it. That's what this thing we all now walk around with, this constant communication. It was attached to our wall by a wire, you know? I mean, once you left the wall, nobody could get a hold of you, and it was beautiful, you know, because nobody needed to. And if they did, you know, you told the important people where you were headed, you know?
It's
How did we manage?
it's
amazing.
how easy is to create dependency on new technology. It's just
Well, dude, what's crazy though is when you start looking at the actual technology, you know, like looking at just the technology our military used in this last raid on Venezuela, right? Proving they had to say out loud, we have directed energy weapons, because you had the reports of people with just their brains blown up on the inside of their skull, right? Okay, we've had the president say that we're space and time don't matter to us anymore, right? Okay, so think through what that means, okay? That means they have technology that makes this look like a rock,
Yes.
right? Okay, so first of all, as we're speaking about what technology humanity has, I just feel the need to clarify, you know, this is just to keep you satisfied, to keep you looked on, you know, looked after, and to keep you attached, you know. But what they have, and what that means humanity should have, is well beyond that.
Because imagine that we finally have total control of the elements we know. And if we have, we could build what in, I believe, Star Trek is called a replicator, where they get all of their food and drinks and so on. How many people will still cook?
Exactly.
How long until no one
I learned how to
knows
cook.
how to
I
cook?
had my mother teach me how to cook. I learned. I watched. I know. You know. And then I actually worked in restaurants. You know. Cooking was important to me. I wanted to be able to feed myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in fact, and now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking that that is already in progress by the creation of fast food. Because why am I going to cook if I can go to McDonald's and in 3 minutes I have a burger in front of me?
Don't even have to go to McDonald's anymore. I got a friend that DoorDashes, and I rode around with her, just, you know, getting a glimpse of that for a while, just hanging out, you know. But man, people now, anything, they don't even have to go to the store. They don't have to go. They don't have to leave their little cubicle, you know, that they call a home, at all. And that's what the people in control want. You know, is for you to not leave your cubicle, you know, to not get out there in the world and start pulling everything you can from it like we do here at the Institute. I'm going to say something to True. Thanks for always showing up. And he said, you said something about forgetting, bro. We used to use our brain's memory before all the BS. That's right. I heard somebody say it about Thoth, you know, in legend, Thoth invented, or whatever, creator of writing, right? And they said, well, what he did when he created writing was he erased memory. You know, because once we used to have to tell these stories, right? And we used to keep it all in here. And now we today are just, we're not accustomed to that. We've got it all here. So we've lost this. You know, Graham Hancock made famous the saying, we are a species with amnesia.
Yeah, and we are trying to give emphasis here from very compelling evidence that oral tradition is not in any way inferior to habit writing. The difference of writing is we should still rely on oral tradition and replicate that in writing, so you don't have to be with a person to actually be there and listen that oral tradition, right? Because
it's about giving up agency. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, just going to say that if people that watch the show will remember that this lady, this indigenous lady that was to be or is still one of the representatives, a keeper of the tales and the oral traditions, he studied for 40 years. And it's not a matter of just memorizing the words. And I cannot emphasize this enough. If she failed the breeding, well, she's telling the story. A simple breeding, he had to start all over again. That's how rigorous. Because we are taught in our schools that oral tradition fails because everyone gives its own interpretation. That couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
The oral traditions were replicated by the breeding
Rigorously.
completely.
It's the origin of, you know, what you might call probably priest class and cleric class or whatever culture you're in. You know, it's definitely the origin of much of that because of the rigorous nature of ensuring that it was correctly passed down.
Exactly. And let me see who said this. True Seer. I don't think Disney is rewriting the stories. Disney is destroying the stories, which is very different
Right.
from writing the stories, because the stories are written. In fact, this looks like absurd, and I thought it was until I looked for it. The whole movie catalog from Hollywood since the beginning doesn't have more than 15 original scripts.
It's damn near the truth.
Everything is replicated in some way, shape, or form, right? Yeah. There is nothing new under the sun. It's just a reinterpretation of what already exists. And unfortunately for Disney, unfortunately for Amazon, unfortunately for so many other companies that are now trying to revive stories that were adored and treasured for millions, instead of using that to entice us and take my money, I want to see it.
They're tanking it. They're tanking it.
They are destroying it completely.
It's weird.
Picking up
Really
character
weird.
by character and just destroying it, right? And that's not creativity. That's destruction. That's completely different.
Right. And
It's butchering
why?
things. And why?
Why? Why, dude? I mean, we don't have to go there. That might be too much, but it's weird enough to give you the chills that they're taking our modern day heroes and myths and they're destroying them.
I'm still appalled each time I remember watching Ralph Fiennes in that Odyssey movie. Because not even gods are safe right now. They transformed a very determined and powerful and very mind, I don't know how to say it. He was very self-centered. He knew what he wanted, he knew where he wanted. He was a powerful, strong individual. And they transform it into a mindless, hopeless bum. Well, in history, yes, he disguised himself as a bum, but there's a difference between disguising yourself as a bum and being a bum, right? And he was traumatized by war. He was not traumatized by war. Odysseus could be many things, but traumatized by war, he certainly wasn't. He would go into war right back again. I kill you all, as exactly as he did. So, and people are taking this, and this is the history of the future. This is the new oral traditions, because you watch the movie and you pass the information, right? And then when you read from the original stories, you say, oh, that bunch of crap. That's not what happened. He was just a bum, a mindless guy with no self-pride, nothing. Nothing could be further from the truth. Right?
Which movie are you talking about?
Odysseus with Ralph Fiennes.
Ah, okay.
So it starts the moment he reaches his home.
I haven't seen it.
It starts when he reaches his home back in Ithaca, right? And he's a broken man with PST.
PTSD.
I'm not kidding. You're laughing, but I'm not kidding. He's severely traumatized by war, by
No,
seeing.
See, I read Ulysses. I used it as audition pieces in high school, right? I'm in touch with the mass. I'm with you 100%. Why I'm laughing is the modern retelling of that is "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" by the
Yes.
Coen brothers. So I have that in my head, constantly against this pussy they're describing as well in your version. I haven't seen this version you're describing.
I much prefer my hair than
Oh, my hair. Yep.
and that beginning.
Damn, we're in a tight spot.
That beginning with the train. Any of your gentlemen might be a Smitty, and the train reaches limit, and there he goes.
Classic.
Because
movie.
it's so easy to do between commas.
Look at
It's so
Delmar
easy.
here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
look at
easy
me.
to do good cinema. There are movies with virtually no budget, and they are awesome to be seen.
Yeah.
And now we are seeing TV series that have budgets of 3 massively costly movies all together into one episode, and it's
Right.
something I wouldn't show a piece of crap.
It's true. It's true. It's so true. Oh Brother was such a great movie. It was so funny, but also it really honed in on the spiritual aspect for me, of that story, much so than other interpretations. And it rung true for me because I loved how he kind of, George Clooney did a great job of playing that sort of mildly intelligent, but mostly sort of retarded in the functional ways, bumbling through life, but being guided by this higher force. And that sort of rung true, with me. It's like, shit is kind of like that, I keep fucking up. I keep ending up over here. And, it's like, it really rung true to that. And they did it beautifully with just the old guy on the rails, telling the story, right? And you shall see things wondrous to tell. You shall see a cow on the top of a cotton house. And then at the end of the movie, he sees after the flood. It's fucking perfect, man. It's like that, and he's just this mildly retarded, mildly intelligent fool sort of being drugged through it by higher power. I love that film.
Another film that most people probably haven't watched, and is but a simple comedy, but it shows the power of perspective and perception. And it's called Tucker and Dale Against Evil.
I'll have to look for it. I haven't seen that.
You
I
have
think.
to see that movie, so I'll try not to spoil it.
Let me
And so it's the perspective of 2 guys that are just going to their newly bought cabin in the woods where they're going to fish and relax, and this team of young university
It's a horror
guys.
comedy. Your
Yes.
best film ever is a
Yeah,
horror comedy. I'm learning here about you.
And this team of youngsters are going to the woods for an
Oh, I see that.
intermission in the studies, right?
A couple of bosomy youngsters.
So, and the perspective of the 2 sides of what one perceives from the other is a psychological ride that I think people should see it for just for that, because it's absolutely fantastic. Another one in that respect, very surprising, that since we're talking about movies, is another unseen movie with Brendan Fraser that it's
I
called The
didn't
Pawn
press
Shop.
play, man. First thing I saw on Tucker Dale, I couldn't even show the audience. It was just a girl in a bikini.
Yeah.
I see why.
Yeah, but it has no single sex. It has no kisses. It has nothing.
Sure, it's
of
just
that.
like horror comedy. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just women scantily clad, right?
And the other one I'm talking about, I don't know if you saw it. It's called Pawn Shop, with Brendan Fraser and Elijah Wood. Okay, Pawn Shop is not 2 perspectives, but a lot of them all put together, and the audience is left completely floating through the whole movie. What's going to happen next? Because you keep the transition between scenes is always something that catches your eye, and the finish the ending is utterly surprising. So it's also an interesting movie. And Brendan Fraser is trying to do a has-been or never been.
The Pawn Shop Chronicles? Is
No,
that
no, it's on. is called only Pawn Shop with Brendan
Okay.
Fraser. He's a wannabe imitator of what's the name of the guy with the hair? Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Okay. Brendan Fraser is an Elvis impression. I see. I found it. Yeah, it's the Pawn Shop Chronicles.
He Chronicles? Okay, I didn't know he had.
An Elvis impersonator, meth addicted, white supremacist, and a man searching for his wife hunt for a missing wedding ring. Why have I never heard of this?
It's brilliant. That movie is brilliant.
Who did this?
It has scenes that you are watching a very relaxed scene, and then something comes and happens. What the fuck is going on here?
2013, Paul Walker, Matt Dillon, Brendan Fraser, Elijah Wood. All right, then. Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus with a fetus for our gamers out there.
And if you're looking a very cheapest of movies done between
What's up, Dave?
what's the name of the actor, the guy from Pulp Fiction, the African American
John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, and
Get in the car, motherfucker. That one. Yeah, okay.
and the guy that did the bad guy on that sheep movie with Steven Seagal.
Oh, I never saw any. I'm sorry. I never saw any.
Okay,
of those.
he does the bad guy. He hasn't.
Eddie,
lots of movies.
Chris Tucker. No, someone of that caliber, I'd assume.
The movie is called Sunset. Let me check it. Just talk
Dave,
a
all right,
little
while
bit.
you do that, Dave, I don't know how we got on movies, man. We went from my theory on secret societies and the antediluvian world to Green Street Hooligans with Elijah Wood. I have not. I'll add it to the list. Boondock Saints, Dave. You ever seen Boondock Saints? Check that
Yes.
one out. You've seen Boondock Saints?
Yeah,
Okay, what's
yeah.
another one? What's another rarity? Suicide Kings with Christopher Walken. That one's fun. Where they kidnap Christopher Walken. He's a gangster. A bunch of prep students. They kidnap him. It's a really good movie. But Boondock Saints is a great story about two dudes that go around and they decide they're going to start killing all the gangsters, and a priest, sort of takes them in, and they get on a mission from God to start killing all the terrible criminals.
You
It's
can
pretty funny.
you can put up a clip of this if you want. The movie is called The Sunset Limited. And what happens is this man is trying to kill himself. And when he's about to do that, Samuel L. Jackson stops him and says, "Give me a chance to convince you otherwise." And the movie is just these two guys speaking at his house, and he's trying to convince him why it's important to stay alive and live instead of just ending your life. Probably there's a clip out there where you can show some of this conversation, and it has no money involved. It no sets. It's just a cheap house where they are talking one to another.
Here we go, folks. Welcome to Movie Introduction Hour. Boondocks is a gym. Good to see you, Dave. I already mentioned Dave. I think I may have said Tuesday, but it's Wednesday, right? I'm going to come see you over there at the Multiverse. And Friday, Dave has got an interview. I guess you could call it that. It was Dave and I chatting and showing a few things for a couple hours. He's going to release that on Friday. Now, I am ready to share this preview.
And answering to David, I don't think I have seen. No, I haven't seen that movie yet.
All right. How you showing up, dude? Is that full screen enough?
We are seeing the comments. You when you put it after you play, just press the full. Exactly. That's it.
Right on.
Happy. Happy. What? You got something against being happy? Happy. What? Like there ain't no such thing? Not for nobody? No.
Where were you standing? I never saw you.
I was on the platform.
On the platform.
Standing on the platform, minding my own business. Here you come. All the nails.
I've got to go.
You don't need to go, Professor. Just stay here and visit with me.
No more time.
We can talk about something else. Open the door. Don't go out there. Open the door. What if I tell you a jailhouse story? You stayed in?
All right.
I reached out and I got hold to this table
Good
leg,
movie.
and it come off in my hand just as easy, and I went to wailing on this head. And I ain't quit. I ain't quit to put my foot on in the bullet out. You think about Jesus?
You're serious.
I think you know I'm serious.
Why are you doing this?
Me? I ain't got no choice.
Of course you have a choice.
No, I ain't. Lord, we thank you for the life of the professor which you have returned to us.
You're not making any sense.
Oh, his eyes was rolled back in his head. You looking at some big black angel got to snatch your hunky ass out of there at the last possible minute to save you from destruction?
I never suggested any such thing. You're the one who put in the stuff about angels. I don't believe in angels.
What is it you believe in?
I believe in the Sunset Limited.
There's the train that he's planning to kill himself in.
I don't know this play.
This is the adventure of a man trying to stop another one from killing himself on the Sunset Limited. That is the name of that train.
Now you're talking to me about one of my other favorite movies. The what is that? Oh, it's the girls breaking news. Hang on, it's playing in my ear. Why is that happening? Go check it.
Go check
there.
it. It came
Go
out today.
check it. Just came out today. Dropped every Sunday at 11:11. Okay, now back to you, sir. So another, and we'll wrap here. I know you've got to get on, but so talking about preventing suicide, Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
very good.
I watch it every Thanksgiving. It's my Thanksgiving movie, if that tells the audience anything about me. That's my holiday movie.
There is a movie that most people wouldn't recognize the name. It's called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern
Are dead. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it's Hamlet.
Especially if you were, as I were, very out of my mind when I watched that movie.
Right. Not in control of your faculties, were your boss.
But it's a brilliant movie to talk about human nature. And it's based on these two characters from Hamlet that never reached the stage. They're dead. They are dead in the play. So this is from the perspective of two characters that are dead in the story, watching the story and being placed within places of that story where they don't belong.
Yeah, the dialogue's brilliant. It's hilarious.
Richard Dreyfuss is absolutely magnificent in that movie. It's just brilliant.
All right, are we done plugging Hollywood?
Yeah.
However,
Sorry.
if you haven't seen Chris O'Donnell try to stop Al Pacino from killing himself in Scent of a Woman, go watch it. Anyhow, I think we're ready to wrap, aren't we, boss?
Sure, whenever.
Anything else from the audience that we missed? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I see Robert says the Lady Druids reminding you to give them a plug. We already did. Oh, we didn't completely because this Wednesday they're going to have released
Dr. Ed Barnhart.
Yeah, which I'm very looking forward to watch.
I'm really looking forward to it as well. I've seen the clip already, and especially watching him talk about DeSoto and what he ran into with the native forces in this area was delightful to learn. Even in all my, readings of the chronicles I'd read, I'd not gotten to, much of what they encountered on the Mississippi, and learning from him, just a little bit I've seen already, has me quite excited for that episode.
And
okay, guys, go ahead.
I just want to say one other thing to Ro that just came to me. Because one of the things I try not to do is sync. So things just either flow or don't flow. And answering your question, if I could do a live show every single day, if I had the time to at that time, specific time, do a live show every single day, I would do it. Because we don't know who's on the other side. And there is something that we could do for someone without knowing that might change their life. Right? So it's still meaningful, even if it is most likely a waste of time. We don't know.
You know when to let it flow, don't you, dude? That was perfect.
It was. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to contradict me.
No,
So-
I'm complimenting you. You said, excuse me, but when I let it flow, it's got to flow. And what you just said could not be further from what makes for a good mission, really. Yeah, I'm the same with you, man. If there's anybody out there that gets anything, yeah, hopping on and just talking about ourselves and others and what's good in the world as far as history goes, screw the psyops, but sticking to our strong point, of course, be happy to as well, man. That's what we're here for. It's community at the end of the day, is what we're doing, And I saw a quote the other day. I think I sent it to you. What was it? It says, the hard way is actually the easy way. There is little competition on the extra mile. And it's really true, y'all. And that's what we're finding. And I'm glad that everybody's coming along with us for it and hopefully finding something along with it. And as long as somebody's finding something, I'm there too. And I hope mainly what we get is practice so that we get better at this, so that, we are able to have fun as we were there for a bit, but also share this stuff. The guys I follow or watch in this field, most of them are able to convey the knowledge, but also do it while having fun. And I think that's important. And so I like to try to work that in.
Connection, as is being mentioned now in the chat. It's
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know, Rue. I don't know. Right now, like I said, we're going live to keep from losing footage, basically, and then for community engagement. It's the main thing. Whatever comes of that,
Sure. And to all of those that.
And just so Lee Pennington doesn't feel so bad anymore, we got to come up with a derogatory nickname for him. Did you see my Facebook post? He was busting our balls a little bit for talking so good about him with his friends. And so I was like, listen, I'm not going to stop, but I will come up with a derogatory nickname if it helps. So shithead number 1 or something like that. We'll see what we'll throw a few things and see what sticks and lands.
Where is it? Let me see. I have it.
Oh, that joke. You can share his joke. That was great.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
We'll end with that. There you go, Mr. Pennington. You're back in the news.
I will have to go to the post you sent me because I can't find it in my. That's the problem with Facebook. Things just disappeared. Yeah. So he says, with all the continued accolades, I feel like the woman who lost her husband. And at the funeral, the minister kept saying good things about the deceased, perhaps more than he deserved. Finally, the woman said to her son sitting beside her, "Son, go there and have a look in the casket and make sure that's your father."
Make sure that's fucking him.
So I answered to him, "Well, Lee, this is entirely your fault. It was the choices you've made, the paths you took, the things you said and wrote, the way we behaved among others that led to here and now. And in my humble opinion, you have yet much more to choose, to say and write, and we can only hope to follow, see and listen. Therefore, if anything, this is less than you deserve, but the best we can do." Thank you.
Ricardo, your last life was in the 1200s. I know it was. You haven't been in modern times, man. You say everything so beautifully, so eloquently. It probably comes, I guess, from English, maybe not being a first language. And we haven't talked a lot about the history of Portugal. I just want to get this note out there. I want to at some point because you know it. And Portugal's for an outsider, Portugal's got odd history, a lot of reasons it sticks out in my mind. But anyway, to Lee Pennington, I went with a life being properly lived, a soul so completely walking its path, nothing more nor less. And in the world I find myself in, that's scarce and a sacred commodity. I will never stop celebrating such a wondrous thing. P.S. I could give you a derogatory nickname if it helps.
Absolutely.
Like, shithead number 1, whatever. I'm still not going to stop saying the things I'm saying,
And now is the time for me to say, Rue, I'm really sad about what you just wrote, because I thought you come here just to watch us and listen to us talk. Seriously. So that's exactly what we're trying. So jokes apart, that's what we're trying, to bring new people here and to enlarge the community and to enlarge the discussion, because we do not pick sides, because we think that experience is experience, be it at defeat or at conquest and victory. All is experience. And right or wrong, all ideas can bring something to the table. Even a wrong conception can bring a concept that will help us and add to our own ideas and conclusions. So if sometimes we have in a show with someone that we really are not being able to follow or fully agree with, we are still giving him the respect or her the respect he deserves, because he's free to think. Who are I or Jason or any of us to tell anybody that he's right or wrong? Because even our perceptions of science are based in presumptions, as we saw yesterday with Rick, right? Because if it is presented in their own language, like I never gave much attention to the expanding Earth ideas. I know that in South America there is oral traditions about this is the sixth or the fourth Earth or the fifth Earth, and each time the Earth changed, it grew, and it was presented to us yesterday from a purely scientific way and contradicting what actually science is describing of its own science. So, right.
So whether or not you agree with whatever theory Rick was putting out, and by the way, Rick's just a man full of so much, so that's why we like to just hang out with him, and he's stuck over there in the snow, and we invited him here today, but he had to chop wood. No matter what you think of the theory, as Ricardo says, you get things pointed out to you, you learn something, you get pieces of, as I like to say, questions, you either get a piece of a question answered or you get another question pointed out to you, So we're trying to do a lot of things. We're trying to bring community together, but we're also trying to continue to just push the boundaries of what we understand and have been led to believe by the narrative that we all suffered under. My favorite term, narrative blindness, you got to have that mind all the way open and listen to anyone and everything. And everybody, when you get on a personal level, everybody brings something. People get too fooled by a fucking book by a cover, We've got a lot of guests on that I may not go all the way with on particular topics, and I may not, this or that. But every single one of them has brought something, right? Think about Ed. I don't go all the way with Ed on his theories, right? But guess what? I'm going to go do Ed's show because I met a good dude, right? I met a dude that's got some things in common with me. He's been on the stage, he's a stage actor. So we'll probably hang out and chat about that, right? It's community and it's friendship, and that's our driving force. Speaking of which, I got to take a call from my daughter. You want to wrap us?
Okay, so thank you very much for watching and staying with us today. I hope you enjoyed. We hope to repeat this soon.
Yeah.
We definitely are going to do some content videos soon because Jason has stuff to present. I want to go back to something that people really enjoyed at the time when we did, we did about 40 to 50 spaces on X about archaeacoustics, and it's something that I would like to bring back to the table. I would like to bring also back to the table
thank you,
at least the initial part of the history of Portugal, as Jason said, because it's the only country built by and for the Templars.
It's got a lot. That's where I was going. The lore of the secret societies.
Yeah. Yep. It's the only one. Nowhere else has a country been created by and for. And the story is very interesting. It has lore. It has magic. It's not King Arthur's, but it even has its points of comedy, like the last battle of Afonso Henriques. And so I think people will enjoy it. And what you didn't hear was saying that you do also has stuff to present us from your material.
Yeah. And, I'm holding back plenty. So, right now I'm enjoying the community building aspect of all this. I do get to go on some shows and talk about my work, but I've got plenty of evolving stuff that I keep back. I threw a little bit of the theories, I'm working on just in my head out tonight. But plenty here in the field, I went live on X today out at the side of Mabilla showing everybody what happens when it rains, and floods that creek. So it should be a big artifact gathering week. Lots of stuff going on. But mostly, dude, I'm enjoying polishing our skills, and I'm enjoying seeing where community building can go. Absolutely. as well as hanging out and just getting to meet all you fucking people. And that brings us to If you are anything like the two nut bars you have seen before you and have been listening to for the past hour, then we want to talk to you. If you're an independent researcher, communicator, artist, activist, whatever, come find us at the Institute of Natural Philosophy. Obviously, our minds are open as a parachute because we know that's how parachutes work, and we'd love to talk to you because none of us have all the pieces.
Absolutely.
I do have candy in my mouth, though.
So once more, thank you all, and a very fond farewell.
Yeah, I got to go give Isabella some gas. I got a teenager needing fuel so she can keep running around being a teenager. So I got to run. Otherwise, we'd hang out. I love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Bye-bye.
we'll
We'll do this soon again. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got things coming up. At least in the next, by Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll see y'all again.
Okay.